You've seen chaos, but you've never seen anything like this. Welcome to the ultimate battleground, Demo, a combat motorsport. Bristol is where the toughest come to prove that they've got what it takes. Get ready for 4 days of adrenaline-fueled mayhem, because this isn't just a sport, it's a combat motorsport. Get your tickets now at demomotorsports.com.
What's up, Derby World? We are live for episode 15 of the Beast and Bake podcast. How you doing, Nath?
Oh, I'm very well. How are you?
I'm very excited for this podcast. I've been wanting to have a chat with Dustin for ages, so it's something I've been looking forward to, and hopefully we can do it the justice it deserves. Plus, we're a week out from Bow Desert, which is our first association event, which is going to be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, we are. We are a week out from our first official event that we are going to hold. So pretty excited. Going to be sort of set the tone of what's expected from the AEDDA. So,
yeah. And you've got a 10-hour drive ahead of you, which is, you're going to love that.
Yeah, it's all going to be worth it.
Yeah, no, definitely. And we've got the gazebo ready, and we've got the big flags and stuff like that ready to go. So it's truly going to be an association event, which I'm looking forward to. We also have 20 drivers nominated as of 3 minutes ago when I checked. So it's going to be absolutely brutal, especially because there's some New South Wales drivers in there with some bad blood from Origin, which we've probably encouraged a little bit, you know. So after that incident, so we're sending them up there to give the Queenslanders a bit of a touch up as well, which is always fun.
That's yeah, it's gonna be very interesting if a New South Welshman takes the Queensland title home, because I can guarantee there's going to be some rubbing it in your face on the way home with that one.
Yeah, that's right. Just for anyone that is watching, we have the live podcast comment section. I believe I can see stuff on there. If you want to comment throughout the stream, have a chat with Dustin and that whilst we're on here, feel free to go for it. We'll talk about some of the stock that we got. So we've got our association gazebo, which is cool. It's going to be the main center of where you got to go to for drivers and stuff like that. We'll have our tables. We'll have some merchandise there. We'll also have our members packages there for anyone to pick up that actually is a member of the association. You go there, one of the girls will give you your packages, and yeah, you can start representing the association. We also got some UHF devices for the officials, which will be on the outside of the field. So hopefully that'll help us to communicate between the officials over the revving of the engines, which is always
that's right. That's a big problem, I suppose, with derbies at the moment. Is the communications a big thing. We're just going to eliminate that, and should take out all that hassle of no communication, and you'll have. Well,
this will be the first time
talking.
This will be the first time I've seen that we actually have earpieces instead of just the little radios, which is a pain. Yeah. Once those motors start roaring, you can barely freaking hear anything.
Yeah, and that's right. Like these are just some of the things that the association is looking at. It's not just the derbies itself; it's everything around the derbies to make sure it's all fair and everything's set up properly. And we're doing everything we can to make sure that the derby sport is the best sport in Australia. So,
yeah, that's right. And so we got the remaining of our gear. It's actually on its way down from Sydney now, all the shirts and stuff like that. So if you are waiting to find out what's going on with the shirts, they will be here this week, and they will be going out. So hopefully within a week or so, everyone should have the members pack that wants them. And yeah, it's all coming together. It's very exciting.
Probably just with that too. Look, we're going to start another round of ordering. There is still spare shirts and everything. So if you're interested in buying shirts or a full members pack, there is spares there. So jump onto it and you'll get it pretty quick. We are looking at doing a new order and including in this order kids shirts and doing up sort of family packs and that type of thing, because like I know myself, I got kids that would love to walk around in that type of stuff, and most derby drivers do. They have, a family with them. So definitely looking at stuff for kids and the younger generation. So as well as that, there's, if you got any ideas for cool things that we could, order and put on our shop and websites, just hit us up in the comment section and let us know. But yeah.
We do have a promotions officer role as well with the association. So if you're looking to get involved in relation to promoting the sport and the association itself, if you have some sort of like graphic design experience, just get in contact with the page. We are interested in getting more into the social media side of stuff and starting investing more in that. We do have a decent following at the moment, but we'd like to grow that. We got, I think it was like 80,000 views on the last video we did from Penrith. So it is definitely getting up there.
Yeah, definitely. I suppose another big thing too is we've been in talks with a venue and about hosting our own event. So it'll be ran solely by the ADDA, which, we'll have the whole venue to ourselves, so we can pretty much do any style of event, multiple events, make a big weekend of it. So if there is any ideas on what type of events you would like to see, we're going to have a full weekend to fill up. So keep an eye out for that, as well as, just let us know the events that you guys would like to see or be involved in. Because at the end of the day, this association's for everyone. It's for you guys too. So if there's something you'd like to see that hasn't been done, or, something that you have seen done and really enjoyed it, being involved in it, watching it, let us know. But yeah, that's probably all the updates. I guess the big thing for yourself is we're just a couple of weeks out from sending the first team from Australia over to America. That's which, with that, a big thanks to KGH Conveyancing as well. Massive sponsor for that, and yeah, up there. Yeah, it's crazy to think that we're sending a team to America. That's massive, and that's a lot of drivers that, want a future in derbies. That's one of their goals, is to travel overseas and represent their country doing a sport that they love. Most people don't get the opportunity to do that. So it's really cool to see a couple of blokes go over and represent us.
And obviously, we've never had anything like this before, and the man that we're about to bring on is responsible for it. So I think we bring on Dustin now, and we'll have a bit of a mag about it. I know he's excited to bring some Australians over there, so let's see what his feelings about it. How you going, Dustin?
Howdy.
Hey, guys.
So obviously we were just having a chat about Team Australia going over to America. Do you want to tell us about Demo as an organisation and how it come about?
Yeah, so as we chatted a little bit before we got on here officially live, there's been an organization problem, right? In the Demolition Derby world, you guys experienced it as well as we have. So we've been talking about it. I decided to get into promoting 6 years ago now, and have kind of been bringing up these topics as well as a lot of other people. It's just kind of continued to be a topic of conversation is organization, and what it actually means to organize and why you organize. The biggest thing why we organized is because we wanted to raise resources and make sure the resources were going to further the sport of Demolition Derby, whether that's recognition, getting outside players involved, getting the drivers the money that they deserve for providing the entertainment. And so we had these conversations without getting too in the weeds with promoters, drivers, different entities. And finally, we were able to get it done with a bunch of drivers coming together, and some vendors and also drivers, but mostly drivers coming together and saying, hey, look, we want an organization. And by the way, we're going to rent the biggest facility in the nation and kind of introduce this organization to the world. And we've kind of coined the phrase combat motorsports. And the way we describe ourselves is we are the UFC with cars. And we are, as you've seen, Bristol is no joke. It is a humongous motorsports track. I say motorsports track because there's a lot of that goes on, but it's mostly known for NASCAR. So holding great NASCAR events. So that's why we're here.
Yeah, I mean, as I was saying before, I've never seen anything like Bristol, so I'm assuming that's why you selected that as your venue, because it's completely out of this world. It's the top of the tier. Like, there's nothing that compares to it in Australia. Like I was saying before, I'd say maybe Suncorp is well, it's not even close because it's 60,000 people. And would you say it was 160, 180,000 people there?
160,000 seats, yep.
Yeah. And like, there's just nothing like that here. When we saw the video of you guys the other day putting that up there, I instantly felt like I was like, yep, we are completely out of our depth here. So, and I spoke to Critty about the same thing, and he's like, well, all that's going to happen there is it's going to amp us up to do something crazy when the Derby starts. So that should be interesting viewing.
Well, we're going to make sure we capture it. We've got tons of camera crews that are going to be there. We're going to be live pay-per-view, so everybody back, in Australia can tune in pay-per-view wise. I mean, you'll be able to rent it, which is really cool, and watch the entire event, or watch it for a day, however you guys want to take it in.
What time does the actual events kick off? I think it's Thursday.
Yeah, I guess that's the time frame difference is going to be a big deal, right? So Thursday night at 6:00. What time is that for you?
I'd say that would roughly be maybe 7 a.m. here. Well, it's 8 p.m. over there now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 8:15 right now. 8:30.
Yeah, so it'd be roughly around 7, 6 maybe. The time difference is going to be an issue. I'm assuming it's all day on the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
It's going to be the same time on Friday, 6 p.m. start. Saturday is going to be a 3 p.m. start, and then Sunday will be an 11 a.m. start.
So Sunday probably the only one where someone's going to have to wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning to watch the derbies.
Yeah,
or just don't sleep from Saturday night.
There you go.
I can't imagine I'll be doing much sleeping on that whilst I'm over there. So I'll make sure we do some lives and that to try and keep everyone awake that's actually trying to stay and watch it. But yeah, the time difference is going to be an issue. With a DTV, can you watch that kind of stuff not live, just like have it to watch over and over again?
Oh yeah. You can subscribe to their subscription, and you can watch anything you want over here. So you go into it's DerbyNation.tv, and they got all the Derby. So I would venture to say, if you want to see what American Demolition Derby looks like, and it's kind of weird to say that, to put American in front of that because we've never really had anything internationally. But so we've just said Demolition Derby. But if you want to see what it's like over here, go on the DerbyNation.tv. That is the best way to see the biggest shows over here.
And they've been around for quite a while. I remember watching Derby Nation TV years and years ago, like when I was a lot younger.
Yeah, they've been around quite a while. And, as with anything, when they first got in the game, it was a difficult game to get in. And they have really just progressed and really become the number one entity over here for pay-per-view. Hands down, really.
Yeah.
And that'll be a new experience for drivers over here, because anyone watching derbies over here can see when you watch soon. Our footage is basically us doing a derby in a big paddock. So it's basically just people on their phones recording the actual Demolition Derby. So some decent footage would be nice for once.
Yeah, so you guys got to fill me in on what you guys do over there. What I see, I'll tell you what I see, and then you educate me on how you do this. So I see a wide open field, almost like a football field, like a soccer field or a football field, whatever. And it's just kind of chaos. Do you guys have rules? Do you what happens over there?
So basically, the only rule out there is don't hit the driver's side door, which I think is an international rule, which is obviously going to be difficult for me and Critty when we come over there because it's on the wrong side. So
I noticed that too. Yeah, I was like, oh, I mean, they're on the passenger side. I forgot about that.
We get a lot of comments from Americans watching it saying that's the worst driver's door hit I've ever seen. And I have to go in there and say on the other side. So that's the constant thing. So you can see we have the red door with the white cross on the driver's side. Literally, that's probably the only spot you can't hit of the cars. We also have a little white flag on the driver's A-pillar, which when you're out, you just snap the flag, and that means you're no longer competing in the event. I'm not sure whether you guys have anything like that.
We do the same thing. So that's pretty neat to hear that same thing. Driver's door hits they're not, I would say at some shows they're more frowned upon, but we require a lot of protection and stuff. And I would say we don't call driver's doors as much. If two entities are moving and one of them's pulling the driver's door, we don't call it. If one car's still and you smoke the door, yeah, that's a problem. So, but we require protection, like 1/8 inch, 3/16, maybe 1/4 inch plate. We require a cage. Like it's definitely, I mean, if you get hit, you're likely not going to get hurt,
I have seen the builds over there and they are crazy. How much do you reckon, like the approximate cost of building one of your cars over there would be?
Well, our big classes that are paying $100,000, those guys will have $40,000 to $60,000 in those cars, and yeah, so that's going to be a very unique experience for you, as well as it is for some of the people in America. Is dude, I promise you, we're going to the Bristol Night Race, which is the NASCAR night race. We're going to bring those cars there, and that's 2 weeks prior to our demo one. And I bet you there's a lot of people that are saying, "Wow, I didn't know these cars were like that," even over here. So we've got a real challenge to educate not only our people, your guys' people, the world. Really, I mean, at this point, we're international. The world of what combat motorsports really is.
Yeah, and that's like even people over here, like we still get people that go, what's a demo derby? Like that have never seen them in their life, and they still get amazed by the cars, and it's just crazy.
The way that the difference in the builds and obviously the promotion and stuff between America and Australia it's incredible, the actual difference in costs and values and stuff like that. What do you think is the biggest difference, obviously, from your perspective between our derbies and yours?
I think we got really lucky with car manufacturers. I think that's kind of where it starts. We really hit some golden years with we call them the dinosaurs, but it's like 1970s GMs and 1960s like Chrysler Imperials. That is the station wagon, the GM station wagon. Are you guys familiar with what that looks like?
I believe Devin was going to use that initially for me, a GM wagon.
So that is like that's the poor man's version of a station wagon. we would call that's like the 80s version, which is still a good car, but the 70s roundback is like the very iconic, very premier, very sought after, and honestly, I wouldn't say it's extinct these days, but they're very hard to find. We got really lucky with those car manufacturers that produced a lot of those cars, and they've stayed around for a long time. They don't rust out very easily. And then Ford, going into like the 90s and 2000s, they created the Crown Vic, which is by far the most popular derby car ever. That's what our world is based on, is basically those two platforms. We do have some front wheel drives and trucks, minivan derbies. As the bigger cars get more and more scarce, they'll derby anything, right? They'll derby shopping carts if you let them. So,
Noah's over there.
Yeah. So that's what's happened. And I think we just got really lucky. Our cars are totally different than your guys's. I mean, what manufacturers do you have over there? Like who manufactures the cars?
I'd say mostly we have Mitsubishi and Toyota would be the two standout ones. We initially had
they're definitely the
Holdens.
cars.
Yeah, we had Holdens for ages, which were basically our version of an Imperial back in the day. Like that was our solid car. But now it's basically, well, you'll see on this video, just front wheel drive V6 Mitsubishi Magnus and Camrys. All you can hear is rice burners the entire Derby, just off on their limiter. Like Nathan's bad for it. He just on the limiter the entire Derby. All you can hear is ning 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 ning. So it's completely different than hearing your guys, like the roar of the cars, and you're like, oof, that sounds intense. Ours is like, little motors just cracking as hard as they can.
Yeah, that sound is going to be unique. And, Bristol, they call it Thunder Valley. One of the really cool things that we're going to do with the entire field is they're going to do a lap around the arena around the racetrack. And that's going to be super loud. I mean, you're going to have 64-ish cars with open headers making between 500 to 700 horsepower. With really high gears, low gears, however you refer to gearing ratio, but low gears, and they're going to be screaming around that place. Not going very fast, but like making a lot of noise.
Well, yeah, that'll be something we'll look forward to. Obviously, when it comes to the vehicle types and stuff like that, we've got some difference. But what about the driver styles? Because I watched the big three that you guys had, and it seemed to be there was a lot of skill, a lot more skill than our derbies, where we basically just rail each other. But the fact that it went for like half an hour just blew my mind, because I don't think I've ever seen a half an hour derby in Australia.
Oh, you can tune into derbies here in the States that are 3 hours long, easily. So on that note, though, we are actually basically rebranding ourselves under Demo to not just be a demolition derby. You won't hear us use that term a lot. We say combat motorsports, and what you saw in that big three video is you had to beat each other, and that took some strategy, that took some technique, that took some skill, right, to actually beat the other person. In a normal demolition derby over here, really, honestly, what it was about to win was just outlast your competition and basically avoid your competition. So that product is not a very sellable product to anyone outside of this niche. And that's what we had to change. So within the organization and how we structure our events and whatnot, we make it very intense. That half-hour heat, pretty rare that we have half-hour heats in the format. We average about 15 minutes. But I will say that big three was probably three of the baddest dudes, in the United States battling against each other, which, again, never really happens. I don't know how you guys do it over there, but basically in our world, people have carved out their own little niches in which they kind of control. They control Ohio, or they control Kansas or PA, and they don't venture outside of those areas much without buddies. So therefore, we don't get to see the best of the best run truly against each other enough. So the big three was signifying that. It was like, we got a guy from Kansas, Chad Markley from Kansas, Pete Hansen from Damascus, Pennsylvania, and then JT Hildebrand, our defending king from the year prior in Ohio, to actually run against each other.
Yeah, it was definitely something to see. That level of competition was amazing.
Yeah, and it can take the most skillful driver and change their whole strategy when they're up against someone that's equal, if not better, and drives completely different. It throws you out of whack.
I suppose
the same thing.
Our equivalent of that would be, obviously there's no big three over here because it would last about 5 minutes because our cars would just fold. But we have what's known as State of Origin, which is similar to what you said about drivers not traveling to different areas, we have the state of Queensland. Their best 13 drivers go up against our best from New South Wales. We just meet at one big meeting at the Speedway. Our cars are painted blue. There's a maroon, and we basically just unleash on each other, which is a great segue to how it came to Team Australia coming over there. I was the captain of the New South Wales team, and I got my ribs broken in the Demolition Derby. Just massive hits and broke my ribs. So I was off work for about a month nursing them, and I was just YouTubing stuff, and I stumbled across Demo and contacted you guys, and obviously it worked out well for us.
Yeah, that's a storyline in itself, right? I never knew that until you told me just prior to us getting on here. But I will tell you that as excited as you were to reach out to us and probably hear a response, we were as excited to hear from you. Like, it was really cool to hear or see someone reach out to us internationally, because that was right when we kicked it off. It was very new. The thought process, the idea, and the execution. And it was, I'm telling you, we were as excited to hear from you guys as you were from us.
The great part about Demo, and I'm not sure if you and Brian realize it or not, but it is American, but the idea of Demo also started the association for us, which is building to be a more professional sport internationally, which is crazy to think that whatever happened in yours and Brian's mind to start this kicked off all this ball rolling in Australia, which I don't even know whether you guys have been to Australia before, but it's a really cool thing that you guys have had an impact on our country as well.
Yeah.
That is like kind of really blows my mind to even hear, because I just never would have expected that. You know, I never would have expected that this would start another organization somewhere else. And kudos to you guys for actually executing it, because obviously you know how much work goes into this now. And, you know, to keep it all together, to talk to everyone, to manage everything you got to manage, from the egos to getting the shows done, to, you know, making sure it's ran professionally and taking the steps. It's not easy. All these ideas that you're implementing and we're implementing, I'm sure there's people that fight you along the way and don't agree and this and that. So it's not easy to be in the positions that we're in, but I think it's necessary. And I really think that someday we're going to look back at these moments and really smile, because we both started something that is really, really great for the sport.
So speaking on that, where do you want Demo to be as your end game? What do you want it to be?
Well, we see it as the UFC with cars, and we want this to be a nationally recognized motorsport. And we are very adamant that it can become that. We want the recognition that these guys deserve. We want these guys to be true professionals. And ultimately, honestly, what I foresee this becoming is it impacting a ton of families that have given their lives, their livelihoods, their time, their effort, their energy for generations to a sport where we are paying, they paid it forward to a point where we can create a nationally recognized motorsport where they can make a living doing this. And we're not saying, you know, become millionaires and get rich, but the fact that we literally are on the verge of creating an entity that guys are going to make a living, where kids are going to grow up and say, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a professional derby driver. That's going to be a thing. And that's where we want to take this.
Yeah. And I mean, there's so many people that actually have given, well, in our sport, especially 20, 30 years of their lives to something which you're basically putting money into, and you rarely get out what you've actually put into it, especially with time and stuff like that. I know over your way, you guys have got massive, like $100,000. Well, I think, what does it work out to be like 400,000 or 500,000 for total prize money over there? Is just insane to us because our biggest prize money is $5,000, I'd say.
Yeah.
So like that
Keep
kind of
in
stuff.
mind, that's never happened here before. This is the first time.
Okay.
It's usually not that big. It's not. That's not the norm. This is venturing into new territory.
Yeah, and like starting off like up here, I can only see you guys going up higher and higher. And obviously, we're very willing to accommodate anything we can over here with you guys if you want to do international teams and stuff like that. Our cars don't cost us that much money, so we're more than happy to put you guys out in the paddock and let you unleash with our little plastic cars. So I think that'll be something cool we could do in the future. But like you were saying with the drivers in the past, we actually come up with a thing for the association where we've come up with a Hall of Fame for the drivers that have retired before, that are no longer active. So that's our way of paying it forward for those drivers that have sort of made their way. I'm sure that there's probably 10 drivers off the top of your head that you could think of that would be American Hall of Famers that maybe don't get the recognition that they deserve.
And like what you said before, like I really agree with that. Like it's a really good statement to make in the fact that a lot of these older blokes did pave the way, and and I guess that's a big reason as to why we started the association is that all they had in their head, even without like the sort of like the income or anything, was just simply the love for the sport and the longevity of the sport. And I guess that's our main goal too, is that we still want to see derbies in 20 years. And, we want to hand pass the microphone down to the younger generation and say, we've done our work and, we've tried to make this the best and simplest thing that you can be involved in. So, yeah, I guess longevity is probably the big thing for me in this sport.
And unless there are promoters and stuff like that, which I know I've done derbies for 15 years in Australia. I've done pretty much everything I want to do in the sport except for going over and winning a demo. But my time in derbies is probably coming to a close because my body can't handle the impact anymore. So it's cool to have a thing that you can promote and build something as well. Obviously making international connections now with demo, obviously we just found out Canada as well. Like there's never been anything as big as that, as far as I'm aware anyway. And I tend to follow the sport quite avidly. But I would dare say that we're the first Australian team to go over there. So that's something special that you guys have come up with, and we appreciate all the work. I did notice, just on a side thing, when you were saying about egos and stuff like that, you guys cop some flack on Facebook. I think that's a thing that happens here, but not as overtly. Like if you have a look, I don't know whether you pay attention to it or not, but there are some comments on there that there's some hate out there in relation to demo. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are it's disappointing because, and I guess I'll describe it this way: is when somebody has an idea and they want to execute it to further the sport, high tide raises all ships. And when we're furthering the sport, no matter if you hate us or like us or whatever, if we're raising, the tide, well, you're going to benefit from it. So when you look at it that way, there's two ways that you can approach it. You can say, hey, look, I'm going to be the guy that sits back and says, I hate this for every single reason, and it's going to fail and all this, right? That takes about that 10 seconds of effort that I just explained that in. That's all the effort you have to put forth to hate on it and be the guy that says, I told you so. If you're the guy that says, hey, I have an idea and I want to execute it, and you're the guy supporting it, well, that takes a lot of effort. So it's disappointing that a lot of people, I don't want to say a lot, that some people, because it's not a lot, it's just some people have chosen to sit back and kind of take that easy route of, I'm just going to, hate on this and not actually do anything to make sure it succeeds for the sport. rather than actually put some boots on the ground and go out and do the things necessary. So it's disappointing when you see that. I guess one of the things that I've learned, I read a lot of books, and I've been around some pretty successful business people and built another business. So one of the things I did, I know, I guess from all this experience in that world is if you're not receiving hate, you're not doing something very big. And we certainly receive a lot of hate. So it kind of is evident of how big it actually is. There's different reasons for why we receive hate and why people hate. Sometimes it's promotions that think that they're going to get pushed out. Not necessarily true. Zero evidence of that, but they feel attacked. Sometimes it's drivers that necessarily think that they're not getting the credit that they deserve. Just different things like that. But yeah, man, I wish everybody could move one direction. I think that's probably the toughest part in organizing a sport is getting people to understand what furthers the sport and makes it sustainable and those, addressing those problems and making sure that you have the foresight to see those issues. That's probably the hardest part in this whole thing. Just battling that type of stuff.
Yeah. Basically, everything you said there, I could copy and paste that and use it for Australia as well. So it seems like we're a lot more alike than we are different, regardless of what country we're in. So it is disappointing that not everyone comes on board for it. But I think the success of Demo is going to change a lot of minds, and obviously continuing on that success breeds success. So I applaud just for what you guys are doing. Like I said, it's up, not just, even though you guys didn't intend it, it's upgrading the sport in Australia, and I'm sure it's probably doing the same in Canada because he's leading the way. Even just our way, like the prize money around here used to be like $1,000 an event or something like that, but we've made it up to $5,000 for our events, which is unheard of in Australian demolition derbies because our cars cost like $100. So our cars are definitely not costing us 30-40 grand, I can tell you that. But in that way, you kind of take the hits for the sport. If they're going to hate on you, well, at least you're doing something for the sport, and it's making it worth it at the end of the day.
Yeah, and that's right. And it's just being that one entity that instead of having, Gary running this show over here and then Steve running this show, and then you got 5 different sets of rules and all different things happening. You just got that nice one entity that everybody can go to with their problems, dramas, ideas, everything, and it's all located in one spot. And then, it can progress throughout the whole of the nation rather than this happens here and that happens there. It's sort of bringing the sport into one.
See, you guys might have a unique situation over there. So I don't believe that all of the derbies over here are going to ever fall under one organization. And the reason being is because there are so many.
Yeah.
Just in the state of Ohio alone, there's 110 this year. Just in Ohio. So how many derbies do you guys have in the whole country?
I'd say less than 100 a year.
Yeah.
If you're lucky with that. That's the entire country as well, which I don't know if you've seen how big Australia is, but it's like 2.5 days to 3 days to get across the country.
Yeah, so we estimate that there's like 2,500 to 3,500 over here, just in the States, and that's not even really counting Canada. So I don't know if it'll ever fall under one entity. But I think there's a pathway, just like there's like AMA. Do you guys know motocross or anything like that? You guys have your form of motocross over there?
Yeah, we don't really have much like that. I mean, we know NASCAR, which
okay. Let's take NASCAR for example. That's like the premier, the pinnacle level. It's where everyone tries to shoot for. It's like a kind of like a made it status. Maybe that's what Demo becomes. I'd like it to be a little more fingers, establish some more roots than just be at the top, and kind of be a separate entity. I would like it to have some roots down in the all the other shows and promoters and whatnot. But I don't think one entity is. That's kind of what people say about us over here. Oh, we're trying to take over. One of the things, trying to take over everything. That's impossible. So we're really not trying to do that. We're trying to further the interest of Demolition Derby as a whole. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah,
and even like I never understand the hate of it, because as a driver, if one show's paying $500,000, every other show's got to step up their game to match that. Otherwise, they're going to fall behind. Which, for a driver's perspective, that's the best thing ever. Like, you're getting paid and appreciated for what you're putting into the sport. So, I mean, maybe it's short-sightedness or old drivers not wanting to change their tune in that. But I never see the drawback of improving the sport, regardless of how it actually happens.
Well, I think you're looking at it in a rational leadership role, and there's a difference. Is the people that are, complaining or not understanding that are very short-sighted. They're short-sighted. They're not seeing a bigger picture here. And really, what you'll find about those people that are complaining is, if it doesn't benefit them directly, they're really not interested. Period.
Yeah.
You could give them a free ticket. Or you could give them. We always say you could give them $100, and if it's not $100 bill, or if it's not how they wanted the $100, with 520s or $100 bill, they would complain. Oh, I wanted my money in $20 bills. Oh, $100, you just got a free $100, So that's what I tend to see from those people. If it doesn't directly benefit them right now in the moment, not for me. And quite frankly, that's a culture change, guys, that we have to change. Like, we're changing that. I tell my guys all the time, like, if you're not rowing the boat, we don't need you on the boat. You're just dead weight. And you got to help row the boat, man, if you're going to be on this ship. And that's how you get somewhere. You get somewhere through a team coming together and seeing a vision and then executing.
And that's right. And it's the people that complain about it and say, oh, I hate, like what you said earlier, I hate what you're doing and I do this and do that. But then they're not the same people throwing an idea. If you don't like what we're doing, throw an idea up and talk to us about what you would like to see. And, we can implement stuff like that. But, we're not mind readers at the same token.
Everyone has their own vision for the sport. And that's what it'll be. Some people are short-sighted and some people are long-sighted. NASCAR started like very similar to how Demo is now. So I have no doubt, if you guys stay the course, that you guys will be the lead agent of derbies and obviously indirectly the lead agents of derbies in the world, which is pretty cool, because obviously we're following you guys and getting ideas of what you guys are doing, and hopefully you'll do the same off us eventually.
I'm kind of blown away. So, do you guys know who Bill Goldberg is, the wrestler?
We do, yeah.
Okay, so he was at our King of Ohio show, and I've had several of these conversations with him and talking about where we're going and how we're doing this. And one of the things that he said to me that stood out was like, hey, I was explaining, hey, we're the UFC with cars. I don't know if we can quite be as big as the UFC, which I really don't think we can because it's international. And then he stopped me right there and was like, hey, sometimes when you go internationally, that's where the money is, because they don't get to see it all the time. And the fact that we're sitting here having this conversation is like, it's just mind blowing because wrestling, a lot of people don't realize, but yes, wrestling was big in the States, but when those guys travel, they travel to areas like, or countries like your guys, right? And then it was a big deal. They didn't come there all the time. So they sold out arenas and they traveled across the world doing this. So, hey, crazier things have happened. Maybe that's something that's down the road. But in the meantime, I love the dream, but I hate the dream because I think you have to execute in the moment. And, we got a real tall task ahead of us, and that's executing what everyone says that can't be done. And that is demo 1 at Bristol, and getting through that. There's a lot of doubt over here. There's a lot of hate, and there's a lot of people wishing it fails. So first things first, we're going to get that done, show everybody that it can be done on that stage. We can execute it in a tremendously successful way. And then, keep dreaming, right?
Yeah, that's it. So, whilst we're talking about the dream and the vision, let's have a look at you'd know better than anyone because you see the draw. What's Team Australia up against in this in our division?
Look, the guys that are coming in your guys' class, that full size elite class, are going to be good. I mean, they're going to have tough cars, but I can assure you that the guy that is leading, so the 4.6 class, the class that you're running, you use the stock motors in. So the guy that has developed and did all the R&D and is like the guru god, the 4.6 god, whatever you want to call him, Robbie Crittenden is going to help build your guys' cars. So your guys' cars will be as good as anybody's there. He's actually, me, Devin, Robbie, and Brian are all going to go down to Robbie's shop for a week and knock your guys' cars out. And I actually have one of your cars on the trailer right now.
Oh, wow. What are we running? Because we've had conflicting versions of what we're actually running.
No, you guys are actually running a 98 to Crown Vic, and then it's a 93 or a 94 Crown Vic. So those are pretty premier, those are, that's cars that I would run. So.
Yeah, Devin said basically 99% of that division will be Crown Vics.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I've basically been looking at a few of their derbies and stuff over there and trying to work out who's who in the zoo sort of thing. In our division, who would you say is the biggest challenge?
I'd have to look at that list again, but there's some boys from Canada that are coming down. And again, I don't have to look at that list, but none of them guys are going to be slouches. I can promise you that. They're all going to be pretty tough. And I know what you guys are coming for, just to destroy everything in 2 shots. I'd caution you to hit soft spots on cars. So if I could give you any advice, I would hit only wheels. So hit everything as hard as you can possibly hit, but only hit the tires, and you'll probably get 5, 6, 7 more shots out of these cars, the way you guys are going to drive, and you'll do a lot of carnage. I think you'll have a lot more fun. If you just go out there and just hit nose to nose or ass to ass, it's going to be fun for a hit, but you're going to destroy your car too. So I hit in the tires, man, hit soft spots and break axles and break front wheels off. And because we want to capture it, man. We got a docu-series that we're filming there. We want you to be in there for 10 hits. We want to hype that up and get you on camera and do that whole 9 yards.
I suppose that's a good segue to talk about your streaming and your documentary. There's some high quality YouTube videos going up recently, which I encourage everyone to go over and watch, because even just the way that you guys scrutiny cars over there completely blows our minds. If I went to, say, Bow Desert this weekend and had a car hoist there and got everyone up on the car hoist and we were there for an hour looking at cars and stuff, I couldn't imagine the reaction that we'd get from the drivers. Is that a standard thing, or is that something special to demo?
No, that's standard. Any of the big shows over here, which is an independent show that pays $10,000 to win, and sometimes at county fairs, you're going on the lift. And the reason why is some guys like to over compete and make these cars a little harder than they should, add some extracurricular metal, and the only way to truly inspect them is to get them up on the lift.
Yeah, well, see, we have something similar, but because our cars are not full chassis, you can add whatever you want. They're still going to bend. Like they still fold. Like everything folds eventually because there's no solid chassis. We basically just have mono chassis cars, and even I don't know if you've seen our utilities or our I think they're called trucks over there, because we run basically whatever in the one division. But you can do whatever you want to those things. They're still going to fold eventually. Everything bends is the old adage. But just watching a scrutineering or an inspection like that was the first thing that went, oh yeah, I'm definitely out of my element for this Bristol Derby. Our scrutineering takes about, what do you reckon, Nath? About 20 minutes, half hour for 30 cars?
We scrutineer probably 20 to 30 cars in about 15 minutes.
Well, I think what's really cool is like what you guys are going to be able to see over here and then bring back to your territory, or your organization is going to be awesome, because I think you're going to lead the way in ingenuity and doing things this way or that way, or thinking about things different. Because honestly, we are kind of meshing two worlds together, and we're going to learn some things from you. I'm sure you're going to point things out on cars or whatnot. For us, you guys said you run Camrys, so these guys over here will show you how to make a Camry not bend. I guarantee you, these guys will tell you some tips and tricks that make sure those Camrys are not bending.
And that's like another thing too, like the different worlds, is that, like, speaking back on there, like you're talking about 25 to 3,500 derbies. Like we're lucky to have 100 Australia-wide. Like I'm lucky myself to maybe do 10, 15 a year if I'm lucky. So like the longevity of your cars are probably a big thing too, that like you guys don't want to have to build a new car every single show, where sort of we have that time to do it. So, that sort of build aspect isn't really a thing for us, which, in the future in the ADDA, and if we can get as big as what we want to be, that's maybe something that we can look into the future and have them events, more often, and look into longevity of cars.
Well, as Dustin was saying before, where we are in derbies now is what they were 20 years ago.
Yeah,
so
that's
you never know. Now that the two worlds are sort of meshing together as they appear to be, no one could confidently say where derby's going to be in 10 years.
Yeah.
We've been hearing that derby's going to die over here I've been hearing it my entire life.
Yeah.
I'm 30, I'll be 35 like next week, and I've been hearing Demolition Derby is going to die for 20 years. And I'm telling you right now, it literally could not be further from the truth. It is not even close to the pinnacle of where it's going to go, or where we anticipate it going. But talk to anyone that's in their 40s, 50s, 60s over here, man. The best times of derbying were 20 years ago. And I hate to say that, right? Because that's that mentality of it's easy to say that. It's easy to say, oh, the best times are in the past. Well, make it the best. Put some work into it. See what the issues are and pay it forward for the next generation. I got two boys that are 4 and 2, and I want to see them get in a derby car someday. They sit out here on the floor. They have no idea what I do, right? They don't understand the complexity and everything that we put into this. But they derby on their derby track. And it would be really cool for them to grow up and want to do this, for a living. And that's just not my boys. That's, everybody's kids. I see the second, the third, the fourth generations of, my friends or people that I compete against have kids that are growing up, that I can't wait until those guys get to compete against each other. And I want it to be in a professional motorsport, which would be just awesome.
Yeah, I think that we all want that for our kids and stuff, and we're making those waves now. The thing I want to show you now, I want to show you in-car footage from our derbies over here, and I want to I'm going to just mute it because I'm pretty sure I swore a lot during this derby, so I'll mute it to try and get that out. but I just want to hear your thoughts of how our derbies are. So I was in a little Mazda 3 hatchback for a little car derby. So I think you call them compacts over there.
Yep.
So basically, it was just little cars going against each other. But this is basically our paddock. It's a giant paddock, a few little gazebos and that out there with officials in them, and that's it. There's literally nothing else. So I actually cut the boot lid off this one so I could see properly, so it didn't bend. So I couldn't, because there was not much room to actually be able to see anything.
So what are the officials looking for?
Driver's door hits. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
And sort
or a
of
fire.
stay in the invisible boundary that we've sort of got.
Are they timing you guys at all? Do you guys have a certain amount of time to make a hit or anything?
Not really, no.
Oh, if you're sitting stagnant for sort of 2 minutes, they'll tell you to snap your flag. But yeah, they don't really have sort of like your timers like you guys do in America.
Yeah, see, basically, if you're sitting there with your flag up, good luck to you, because someone's coming down on your full stick. It never ends well for them. See, my style of driving here, I basically go around the outside and look for a shot, and then you'll see me go the whole way around the track until I get to that shot, which I think that your tracks over there is going to balk me in the way I drive, because I'm always on a circle track.
So we always tell people to turn left in the track over here because the driver's side is on the other side. So you would you're going to be in our cars. So turn left in the track. So anytime there's you're not sure what to do over here, turn left so that way you have the driver's door to protect you, because they won't hit you in the driver's door, or at least aren't supposed to. So that kind of gives you some protection, over here.
How big are the tracks over there? Well, for Bristol.
Bristol's going to be like a 120 or maybe like 100 by like 120, 140. It's not really a huge track at all. I mean, you guys are in a field here.
Yeah, this is huge. See, like, you can see our tracks, we're going to be sort of used to that more so than anything. So having the smaller tracks is going to be interesting in relation to run-ups and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Are you guys switching tires? Or I can't see the front of these. Some of these have stock tires, but some of them, do you guys run different tires and stuff?
In this one, we weren't allowed on front-wheel drives to use rally tires or winter treads or anything like that, but generally we try to run rallies, but a lot of the shows out here have outlawed it because we roll cars over too easy. But you can see my bar work on this one is a little bit different. I've got the 2 floor-to-roof bars and the pillar bar, and that generally there's literally just a pillar bar there.
So why are you having that to hold on there? Oh, that's a great shot.
Yeah, so
that's where you need to hit people right there, and the tires, and just kill them.
So I lined this shot up from the other side of the field. I just had to get into the right spot for it. So Jaden there, I've been watching him drive for a while, and he was a pretty good driver. So the moment I got a chance to actually get a shot on his front wheel, I was pretty excited about that. So I wanted to get that big run up on him. But yeah, basically I use that floor to roof to hold on to. I've seen you guys have like ratchet straps or something like that.
Yeah, so we actually have what we call mandatory rollover bars that are built off our back bar there. And then we ratchet strap like behind the seat. So as I'm sure you're aware, but you guys have your backseat bar, like you can break your seat and it could kind of fall out of position. Well, me personally, I run a ratchet strap behind there, so it keeps that seat in position where I want it, and then it gives me something to hold on to as I go backwards.
Yeah, definitely need something to hold on to, because I couldn't picture not having that, because you can see I flick around a lot when I'm in there. Having something to hold on to helps with accuracy of shots as well.
Oh yeah, one thing I've noticed here is you guys don't bounce around as much as we do. Our tracks can get pretty rough, And I've got some in-car footage that I could show you of like me trying to navigate, bouncing and hitting a shot, but bouncing my head off the roof constantly. So this, with having such a big track, I mean, you don't necessarily get that.
Yeah, no, because it's just a big flat grass track, really. Like, if there was a bumpy area, I'd just drive around it.
Do you guys do a lot of modification on your suspension and that type of thing?
Yeah, we do the whole 9 yards. We
Yeah.
literally take the car from bare frame all the way up. It obviously depends on the class, but the big classes, I mean, everything's modified.
Yeah, see, ours is basically the golden rule is you can take away, but you can't add to the cars. So realistically, you can weld the doors. That's about it. I always have a bar or a steel plate in the driver's side door. But as far as anything else, it's you can move the electrics, but basically anything else is frowned upon.
Is there gray areas and rules over there? Like, as you watched our YouTube videos, you see that there's gray areas. Is there gray areas that who has the overbuilt cars usually over there?
Mostly the old like Fords and Utes and panel vans and stuff like that. The boys go a little bit wild with the welding, but that's about it. Like, it's completely outlawed to add plates or anything like that to the cars. There's really nothing that compares to the American builds, to be honest. In State of Origin, they had basically like welded everything and bolted ball joints and had like pipes and that in the suspension. But as far as the general show derby or something like that, no one really gets into it too much to do that, because I mean, we build our cars in like a week, if that. Some of them just in a day. Like, it's basically just strip and go.
This version of Demolition Derby right here is an awesome version because anyone can do it. Anyone can build a car in a week. What is kind of funny is we have this exact version, and you're going to see this at Bristol, where it's called our Most Wanted Fine Arts class. And Jason Sauer started this class. He's really kind of pioneered the whole thing, and really deserves all the credit for it. But there's still people over here, the haters, right, that say, oh, this is how Demolition Derby should be. And it's like, but you get that version. You get all the versions. You're going to get everything that you want about Demolition Derby, but they still get caught up. And this is how it should be. Well, okay, you get that. There's 2,500 shows that offer that class.
I think a lot of it is the fact that because they're in America and they've seen the other. I couldn't think of anything more exciting than to have the King class or something like that in Australia to watch actual skillful driving as well. Like, we get these big fold up hits and cars breaking and stuff like that, but to see the skill on display and well, like you said, combat motorsport, we just don't get that over here. And because we don't get it, we can appreciate it better when we see it.
Yeah, and that's exactly why the international scene works. A couple questions on the crowd. What type of crowds do you get over there? What is the biggest derby crowd that you guys have?
I guess with our local shows, it's pretty much whoever's at the show. But when it comes to demo derbies, everybody that is at the show, I'd probably say 500 to 1,000 is at an average show. But when that demo derby gets called over the microphone, every single body that is there goes straight to the fence to watch this derby. It's such a big crowd draw. But we definitely don't get thousands.
Yeah, the enthusiasm. So I honestly think that the derbies over here are an untapped resource. If you had someone come over here from America and actually do a Derby Nation TV, something like that, and actually show it to the Americans, I think you would love to see our derbies, cars getting broken in half in one hit, rollovers, catching fire and still going head on into someone. That kind of stuff is completely crazy, and it never really gets captured until now when we're trying to get better footage of our events. So that kind of stuff stands out. Whereas at our shows, because we don't have the same population as you guys, like there's 26 million in Australia completely. So it's not a massive, even though we've got a huge country, there's not a massive population to support events, and most of them are on the coast anyway. Like I live a little bit inland, so we get maybe 1,000 people at our shows, except for State of Origin, which I think we had, was it 5,000 or something like that? Which was that's the top tier that we have over here is Origin, and that was pretty cool. But like I said, Bristol with the amount of people over there is going to blow our minds.
Yeah, it's exposure. Like that's, I guess that's sort of a big thing for us as well, is starting to really expose the sport and get it out there now that we have an entity to do it with, and start throwing it in people's eyes right in their face and say, hey, like this is a demo derby. And a lot of people talk back and they go, oh God, I haven't seen a derby since the 70s or the 80s at the Speedway. Like, do they even have them anymore? Like, it's that starting to bring that exposure that, hey, we're still around. So.
I love these moments of, it's like the times where you're like, yeah, there's only 500, 1,000 people there. But I love to talk about these moments and kind of live in the moment with them, because it ain't always going to be like that, guys. You're going to look back and you're going to say, man, remember when we only got 500? I remember my first show that I put on was called The King of Ohio, and it was 4 years ago. And I'm telling you right now, there might have been 400 people there. And we paid out I want to say it was in the 50s. I want to say it was like $55,000 purse. We took in 0 entry fees, and we got like 50. Maybe that was maybe it was like a $45,000 purse, and then there was like 55 total cars. That's it, which is like, oh man, this is not good, right? But I remember in that moment looking around and just saying, hey, enjoy it. Enjoy the weekend. This ain't a great weekend. There was a bunch of people, making fun of the show, talking about the show, but it ain't always going to be like that. And we had our King of Ohio show this past year, almost 3,000 people at it. Just a great atmosphere, just overall, just tons of good people. We were filming for a docuseries. Bill Goldberg's there, and now we're transitioning into, Bristol. We're we expect 10,000, 15,000 people there to be there on maybe the biggest day. And if there's not, we'll have the same moment. We'll look at each other and say, hey, look, it won't always be like this. We're going to grow this thing. And I think it's fun to embrace it now.
Yeah, that's right. I'd much prefer a show that's ran well and everybody that was there had just a time where they look back and go, holy crap, that was great, rather than a show that's, massive and not fulfilling in a sense in that term. So I understand that there.
I think derbies, it's a weird thing now that you might have 500 people there, but if you put a quality content on and then it goes online, like we had 80,000 views on my in-car from that hit with that guy in the wheel. Like that kind of stuff just blows up. You could have 500 people there and then 100,000 people watch that derby. So it's like, not everyone wants to travel out and watch a derby, especially after COVID and all that kind of stuff. But you can have so many people that actually just want to watch a derby from the comfort of their house, which is a cool thing that we're doing with Bristol and with our derbies as well now.
Yeah, that's one thing that people fight us over here is people want to take in content different ways, right? And when you're in our positions, it's your obligation to make sure that they can take in the content. If they want to watch it on YouTube, if they want to buy it on pay-per-view, if they want to see it in person, it's our obligation to make sure that can happen. There's a lot of people over here that hate the content world. And they just don't understand it. It's just, it's frustrating, but it is what it is. I mean, if you don't get on board, you're going to you're going to get left behind, and content's king, and people want to take in content different ways.
And that's right. And like, whether we like it or not, that's the way of the future. That's the way it is. So like what you said, you either get on the train or you stay at the station.
Yeah, easy memories too. Like I'll put this one on here. This was actually the large car derby. But basically, this is our larger cars out there, and this content here, we just make a heap of reels and stuff out of it now, but it goes all over the place.
Yeah.
And even just like that's a panel van too, Dustin. That's pretty much one of the hardest cars we've got there.
Is that like a hearse or something? Like, is that what that is?
No, they used to use them as police vehicles, but basically they're called panel vans. I think that was an XF. The back of it's solid as, the front's got nothing, and you can see the wagons there. A lot of those are Magnas, which are our version of a Crown Vic. I'd say they're the most popular car we've got. So there's Nathan there in that green wagon. He's basically on the limit of the entire derby for some reason.
I had a bit of vengeance against this car because I towed it the whole way to Queensland and got my CV snapped in 30 seconds. So I wanted to make sure that this car went to scrap on Monday.
Like, yeah, you can see, obviously, massive field, so many things happening at once. This is literally just me with my my phone recording this. We've got a gazebo halfway through the field, so like this is the typical demolition derby for Australia. Massive field, massive hits, but the quality of footage and that comes from it is lacking at the moment. I believe the association had some decent footage of this, which hasn't been released yet, which is good. Which we're trying to build towards more of that stuff. Like we've got like 2,500 people on TikTok now as well, so it is building. It's just a slow process, unfortunately.
Yeah, it doesn't happen overnight. We don't get discouraged by that. Some of these you put all the content you can out, and some hit and some don't. We had over 10 videos get 1 million views from King of Ohio, and it was really just Devin on the wall, just putting in a ton of work throughout the whole weekend and just capturing it all, throwing it all at the wall, putting it all online and saying, what hits and what doesn't. And we had 10 videos do over 1 million views. One of them was like at 10 million.
That's crazy. I know Devin is a massive resource to demo, I believe. Like his content and that, some of it's hilarious. Like, but
he's a character, right? Like you need characters. People need to feel like they could. That's a heck of a hit right there.
That's Nate just wailing some poor bugger in the front.
Oh man, like that was perfect. That was but you need personalities like that, and Devin just believe it or not, how we met Devin, and I knew of Devin. I think Devin knew of me, but we offered anyone. We had free tickets to the Bristol Spring Race, and we said, "Hey, anyone that wants to come and join us." And he was one of like a couple people that came down, and he showed up in his van and hung out with us the whole weekend. We didn't know each other. By the end of the weekend, we were best friends. Like, I mean, it was awesome.
So there you go. Someone hitting a gazebo in the background there.
Yeah.
I'm assuming we're not going to see that at Demo 1.
They would have to go through a 5-foot wall to be able to get out.
Certainly would be interesting for the crowd. Yeah, I think Devin, his actual social media knowledge and that is going to be invaluable. I'm really looking forward to when he comes over this way. I hope I can talk a few more of the demo boys into coming as well. But I can only imagine what kind of content he's going to create when he comes over here.
I'd like to. I hope this all works out, man. I think this would be like a great family vacation to take the family over to an entire different part of the world and hang out with you guys and run some derbies and get to see. I mean, Australia is known for like a lot of neat stuff. I mean, I'm not. You guys got kangaroos. What? That'll box you. I've seen the
There's
boxing.
one right literally across the road from my house right now, just staring out in the paddock.
Yeah, like that would be really cool to see. And then you guys got a ton of poisonous stuff, right?
Yeah,
Your side of the world.
Yeah, spiders and snakes are everywhere. You got quolls over here as well that are a pain in the butt. Pretty much, if you got an animal and it's outside, you've got to make sure it's okay. Because we even have eagles. We have wedge-tail eagles, and I was only saying the other day to one of my friends over here, I saw a rabbit that was just running across the paddock, and it got hit by an eagle that was the size of my car. Like, I'm there, I could hear it getting attacked. I'm like, I don't want anything to do with that, mate. You're on your own. Like, so
Wow.
having people experience that when they come over is going to be cool. So we've got associations running a leaderboard, and we're looking to the winning person of that is going to go on a trip overseas as well, similar to what we're doing here. So that kind of stuff is obviously something that Demo could do too, which I'm more than happy to facilitate. Having a leaderboard with points and stuff like that, and the winner gets a trip over to Australia or something like that. Like those kind of things introduce new drivers to new experiences, and obviously any driver is going to fight tooth and nails to try and get a trip to a different country to have a holiday. So that could be something that we could look at in the future, which I would definitely be down for, because I'd love to see. Could you imagine Pete Hansen out there? Go, here you go, jump in, mate.
Yeah, that would be, and Pete would definitely do it. He's one of our superstars over here, and that would be really cool to send a guy like that over for sure. The sky's the limit, guys. I mean, right? I mean, there's nothing standing in between us and this. We just got to get it out to the world. People enjoy this.
Yeah, 100%. Like even this footage here, I think this has got like 7,000 or 8,000 views just on the full video. I think the reels are a lot more popular. We're getting a heap of views on just the short impact photo, like videos. But we just need to access to the bigger audience that America provides as well. And the same with having the drivers over there. Like I guarantee if Demo is the only one that has connections with Australia or something like that, there's going to be people that are going to be, sucking up their ego to want to come over to unleash on this kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt.
And also Brian, the one does the trucks.
Yeah,
I've already been in the
crazy one that does the trucks.
So Critty, he does nothing but like Ford Utes, which is basically like a truck class, and he's more than happy to build a car for whoever wants to come over from Demo. And I was like, we've got to get into Brian's ear and get him to come over here and do a Ute. And you do it up against hatchbacks and everything. So imagine one of your trucks up against a compact. Like that's pretty much what we run over here.
Guys, we're going to do this. We're going to create like a whole international, like just YouTube video series out of it. Like I could just foresee like how this works, and I think it will. I think it'll blow the roof off this thing.
Oh, it'll be huge, absolutely massive. Like even the boys here, like we do a smaller sort of thing called City vs Country, which I captain the city team and Shane captains the country team. And just when we put a poll up and see who would be interested in it, like the amount of inboxes and people going, yes, I want to be on the team is just absolutely crazy. And that's a local event. Like that's like within 100 Ks of each other. Like, so something international would absolutely blow the roof off everybody here in Australia that drives. Like absolutely mental.
You guys have a Nitro Circus over there, right?
Yeah, they come and visit us.
Yep. So Travis Pastrana and those guys, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Yeah, they do. They definitely. I knew they came over there. Yeah, I mean it's so possible. It is. It's very possible. And just I can't wait to see the growth that happens between the two sports.
I think once because me and Critty are going to be obviously going live and stuff like that whilst we're over there doing sort of not a docu-series, but our own little recording of the trip. So I think that kind of stuff is going to make it bigger and bigger and bigger. And obviously, when you guys have the docu-series and stuff, and people can actually watch how it happens, I think it's going to make it like a real thing for people to actually go, look, it's possible to have this international demolition derby circuit. And once that starts kicking in, there's no real way that this is going to slow down. Derbies are only going to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah, absolutely. I found out that I don't know what type of media attention you guys get over there with the news and whatnot, but that's big. Any type of attention you can get it out there, it all helps.
So I think over here we kind of underutilize the exposure. Like we have obviously the product there for derbies and stuff like that. But it wasn't until I started watching demo and how you guys are going about it that we actually went, oh, we've got a product here that people want. And that's when KGH Conveyancing has come on board.
Yeah.
And they've paid nearly the majority of our trip over to America. So as far as drivers go, it's cost us not a lot of money at all, because we have sponsors that are interested in the sport and are happy to come on board. Like, we're obviously going to be wearing our Team Australia shirts and that when we go over there with KGH Conveyancing on them, and put our stickers and stuff on the cars. And that kind of stuff, I think, is exposing these new sponsors and sort of showing them what could be possible. And then we can hopefully build for bigger and bigger stuff. I think demo is going to be the same once you guys release that documentary footage and that we can actually show people this is the product we have. If you want to come on board, this is what we can offer.
So it's awesome to hear your guys' perspective, because it's an outside perspective, right? What you're seeing with demo is not the norm over here. It is really leading the way and kind of paving the way, plowing the field. So what you're seeing and the fact that you guys are seeing that and like, oh, they do this and replicate it, it's really neat to see, because it's not the norm over here. We are catching a lot of a kickback of doing it this way, but as people see the results and they catch on, they understand content's king. They understand we need to sell it. They understand the entertainment. Like, you can see it gradually moving over here, which is really cool. And it's funny to hear your perspective, to see it from the outside and say, I like how you do this. I like how you do that. Because it's, quite frankly, I mean, it's all new for our world too.
And I think that's going to be one of the main things is obviously we do things differently than you guys and you guys do differently, and we can just bounce each other's ideas and stuff. Like, I honestly think that the leaderboard and the Hall of Fame stuff for demo would be amazing to see. And like I said, we can have a chat about that later if we do some international events and stuff, because I guarantee you've probably got 5 drivers off the top of your head that you'd love to see go up against Team Australia. Like, the best of the best colliding would be awesome.
We will have to get on here again and go through the Hall of Fame and all that stuff. But there is a Hall of Fame aspect with all of this. And as with anything, there is drama behind the scenes and whatnot. So some of our Hall of Fame ideas got out, and some people over here kind of claimed them as their own and presented them to the world as their own. So we kind of have been going back and forth on that. That's been a little bit of a disappointing thing, but we do intend to create a Hall of Fame, and we just want to make sure it's very appreciated and people understand it. And we want to get through demo 1 before we do that, because some of the guys that should be in the Hall of Fame and should be quote unquote first ballot Hall of Famers are not necessarily guys that are in favor of demo at the moment. And it would be just disappointing to A, leave those guys out, but B, for them to get inducted into a Hall of Fame that they necessarily don't want to be in, or don't appreciate it in the moment. So I think you give it a couple years here. things come full circle. Everybody kind of starts seeing the vision, and then you can create a Hall of Fame and, kind of showcase to the world who the best of the best are that help pave the way in the sport.
Yeah, we definitely have to, after Bristol, have a discussion on the podcast, and that I think when we actually do our different driving styles and stuff over there, we'll definitely have a lot to talk about. Because, like I said, even just this something as simple as saying, "Hey, we actually drive on the opposite side of the car." Like the amount of drivers over there, they're going to go, "Oh, we didn't even think of that." So my 15 years of experience just goes completely out the window because my instincts are going to be completely off. Same with Creddy. Like we're going to be lining up shots and going, looking for a red door, white cross for the driver's door, and not even thinking about like, oh, we can't hit here or we can hit here. The square track's going to be hard. The concrete wall is going to be hard to try and work out to not go into that. Like those kind of
right
things.
Shoulder instead of your left.
Even just something as simple as that. See, we actually hired a car. So we land in Atlanta, and we've hired a car to drive up there for the specific purpose because we were initially going to just, rock up and get a hire car or something like that in somewhere closer. I can't remember what it's called, Tennessee. And we thought we'll land at Atlanta because then it gives us a lot of driving to actually go there so we can work out how we're actually going to do this derby because – when you said that we're going to do a track, like we're going to do some driving before and around the track and stuff like that, I was like, fantastic. I can try and learn how to drive this thing.
Yeah, for sure. Well, those things you just don't really think about. And it'll be the same thing for us over there. When we come over there, it's going to be totally different. I mean, we're used to – I'm looking at you. I'm used to looking over my right shoulder. To look over my left shoulder is going to be odd. That's going to be weird.
Yeah. And even so, the funny part about that is when you guys come over here, because I've watched your derbies and the head-on stuff that you guys do looks incredible. If you do that over here, you're going to do about 2 minutes of derbies. You're gonna go head-on, bust your radiator, and then your motor's going to cook in about 2 or 3 minutes.
We're going to take a Camry and we're going to do some work to that thing, and we're going to figure it out. That thing's going to be running all night long.
So in other words, we're going to have to put you up on a hoist. We're going to have to sort this out. It's going to be an hour-long inspection.
Yep. A bunch of debate.
What the hell is that?
Yeah. Well, don't worry about that.
That doesn't look stock to me.
Yeah.
Look, I think we're going on to the hour and a half now, Dustin. I think we'll finish it up there. I want to thank you for coming on board. Like, I dare say this will be the first of many podcasts with us. So I'm excited for all the future that's coming. Going to see you in about a month's time, which is going to be good. Still have no idea where I'm going. So hopefully the GPS works over there too.
It will.
The plan is obviously to get some green and gold cars. I actually spoke to Dustin the other day and I felt like an idiot for saying it, but all of their cars are black. And I was like, is it a rule that the cars have to be black over there? And I was straightened out about that. Apparently, it's just what some people do.
That won't be the case at Bristol. You will see a lot of different colors at Bristol, and actually, we've gotten fought on that because people want black cars and black shirts, and trying to explain to them that doesn't sell. We're trying to sell it to brands. We're trying to sell it to people that have never seen you before, and everyone having a black car is pretty hard to sell. So we catch flack on that type of stuff too, but it won't be that way at Bristol.
Well, our cars are definitely going to stand out with the green and gold Australian colours. At least whatever we do, we won't get mistaken for anyone else anyway. So that's definitely going to be a plus. But yeah, so thanks for coming on, Dustin. I'm looking forward to next month, and well, yeah, I think it's going to be absolute game changer for our sport. So I thank you for everything you've done for our sport and internationally, even though it was unintentional. I thank you for what you've done.
Yeah. Well, hey, look, I appreciate you guys reaching out and from the very beginning and taking such an interest in following what we're doing over here. And I'll come on anytime. Shane, Nathan, thank you very much. And thank you for doing everything you guys are doing over there to further the sport and get this thing truly international.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, did you want to take us out, Nathan?
Yeah. So just like every other week, if you're struggling with mental health, don't be ashamed of it. Everyone's been through it. Everyone will probably go through it. Reach out, inbox one of us. Speak to a mate, talk to someone, anyone in our group. Everyone's open for a chat. It's definitely not a sign of weakness, and it's needs to be something that everyone can talk about. So, yeah, if you're struggling with it, reach out.
Now, before we go, I just got a message from Nathan because he didn't want to say it live. I completely forgot to play his in-car footage, and he said, I want to impress Dustin, so I better put this up.
Oh, no, you've put me on the spot now.
He wants a shot at Bristol next year, Dustin, so he's going to try and impress you with this one. So this is Nathan at Penrith. We nearly missed out on this.
You fucking... It's not that impressive.
But this is a Magna wagon, by the way. So this is like our...
That's a great shot. That's the shots right there, man. You guys see, your guys' driving styles are... You guys know what to do.
We just have we have more time to think about it because the run-up's like 5 seconds long. When you got a track that's 100 meters like long or 150 meters long, you've got plenty of time to think about the impact and where you can line up the shots.
Yeah, no doubt.
You can see Nate's car was built up for Origin. That's why he's got the bar work down the passenger side as well, and he's got the harness on. That's pretty much like the top. That's the most you're going to do in Australia for a derby car. Is that kind of bar?
I like watching, people's in-car footage because you get to see the way they react as a driver, and like even myself, like I don't notice myself looking around and observing what's happening on the paddock. Like while you're in that moment, you don't realize what you're actually doing.
The head on the swivel.
Active sport, yeah.
See, which I'm assuming you'd be keen to come actually do a derby over here, Dustin.
Oh yeah. I'm a derby driver, man. I love this thing as much as anyone, man. I would definitely get in a car.
So over this way, I'm not sure if it's the same over in America, but if you make one mistake in Australian derbies, you're gone. Like someone can hit you and take you clean out with one shot, roll you clean onto your roof. Like it's the margin for error in Australian derbies is extremely like tight.
It's just super fast paced too. Like everything's flat out.
Obviously, you would have the same if you get hit in the wheel over there, the cars stop. But the King class ones, it seems like nothing was going to stop those cars with one shot.
Yeah, those. I mean, even when they do get their tires knocked off, they got so much horsepower they can just push those things around. Like
which is
it's
crazy to see. See over here, like you get hit in the wheel, it's over. Like you get hit in the front wheel on a Magna. You're pretty much done. It's either the CV snapped or your struts pushed into your engine or something like that.
Yep. That was a great shot.
I just broke it in half. It was the worst way. It folded straight at the floor. And you'll see it here. Like I'm almost full noise and just not going anywhere.
Yep.
See, he's actually hit, and when he's hit, the shocks have pulled clean out of the back, and it's just dropped on its guts. We slow motioned it to watch it, but he's like overextended the back of it, and it's pulled the shocks out of the back.
What's interesting is you guys drive in reverse so much. Is some of the guys over here, I mean, they don't drive in reverse. They only drive going forward.
Yeah, that's kind of
we have kind of been taught to drive in reverse, but I mean, some people don't.
I'd say at least 80% of our driving is in reverse, unless sort of something like this happens where reverse just starts to become not an option, and then you got to start driving forward. But I think I only hit one more time in reverse, and then I pretty much just drive forward for the rest of the time, trying to take CVs out.
Yeah, I think you got sick of the whole back end being like a shovel. So
it just couldn't get fast enough. It just wouldn't move.
See these ones here, Magnas. When you come over here, I guarantee you'll be in a Magna. but they're basically like
So
as far as
I'm making a
derbies over
mistake
here,
here.
the Magnums have got power, they've got speed, they've got strength, and if you get hit in the front, it doesn't really do much because there's really nothing, because it's east-west motor. There's nothing really to break.
Okay.
So it's pretty much the idiot-proof car of derbies.
Yeah.
You can go out there and just go completely crazy.
You lose your radiator and they'll run for another 10, 15 minutes boiling hot as long as you keep the revs up to them.
So there's got to be like some Crown Vics over there somehow, some way.
Yeah,
somebody has to have, somebody has to have a Crown Vic over there.
Oh,
if you could bring some over here, I reckon you'd make a fortune. The Crown Vics and that, any American car over here is worth a fortune. I don't know why, but they seem to be, they bring in a lot more money, anything different. Whereas like these cars, you're probably paying about $500 for a car over here. And yeah, it lasts 1 or 2 derbies, if that. And so we're building constantly to keep up the supply. Like Nathan just said, he's already decided this car is not going in another derby. That's why he's going head on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely.
And you can picture the speed that you pick up from being on a track that size if you're going forward.
You guys are going much faster than you're going to be able to go over here. You're not going to be able to go this fast.
Which would be something that we're definitely going to have to try and work out. Like our whole style is Australian style. So like if you gave us a track with a bit of run up, we wouldn't think twice to have it full stick across the field and put someone through a wall. Just that's the way we've been, conditioned. That those big impacts are what wins your derbies. Which is why the heats is going to be so interesting.
Oh, it's going to be incredible.
Any update on when the actual draw comes out? I saw the hypothetical draws.
For your guys' class, we won't draw until at the show. You guys will probably run. It'll be either like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I think is what you'll run. So Friday night you'll run. Saturday will be the consies, and then Sunday will be the feature.
And for the pro stock, is it the pro stock or is it the pro?
The pro and the pro light. Those draws will actually be done on Wednesday night. The Wednesday night before the show in Victory Lane.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I'm very interested to see because I've been following a few of the teams and a few of the hypothetical draws. They're coming up and going. This is going to be very interesting to see.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's the best show ever put on. As far as talent, it's not even close. Probably the show that was closest to rivaling it for a long time was Blizzard Bash. That was kind of the pinnacle of Demolition Derby over here. And essentially we have like Blizzard Bash in its prime, and we have 2 classes of that. So they always had a national bracket, and we basically have 2 national brackets with the pro and the pro light. It's honestly, it's so good. The talent is so good. It's going to be so awesome.
So what have you got planned coming up for Bristol? You guys going to do more trips over there with more video content and stuff?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to be at Bristol 3 of the next 4 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So leading up to the show, yep. 3 of the next 4 weeks, we're going to be, at some point during the week, we're going to be down there.
Yeah, because we're obviously enjoying the footage. I'm putting it all over our pages every time. So a few other people, like I said, it's blowing everyone's mind, the actual field itself. Like I'm really interested, actually. How you guys build tracks, to me, is incredible. Like we literally just rock up, and whatever the track looks like, that's what it is. It's just the paddock. And
couple
for you
of
guys,
throw some cones out.
Yeah, we throw some cones out and go, there you go. But if you guys actually design a track, it's something where, considering like 15 years of derbies I've done, and my brain just can't comprehend that you guys are designing a track for the specific purpose of derbies. It's something cool. I'd love to see more content on how you guys are designing the track and stuff like that. Like
that perspective is just something that, because we're so in the weeds over here, that we don't understand that's a really cool aspect of it. So to hear what you guys are saying is awesome. To us, it's become the norm. It's just kind of what you do. You have to have a track where you have to have walls, and if you don't have a track there, you're gonna have to build it. So we are going to be building that track right in the middle of of the infield at Bristol.
Yeah, so like watching, especially in America, like watching like on Derby Nation TV and that type of thing, like where you guys have a show that, it's just a track in the center of some grandstands, and that's what the whole show is about. It's just derbies all weekend like that. That is like one of the ultimate goals for Australia at the moment, is just to have a dedicated weekend to derbies. Like that would blow our minds.
We should do it. We should create a weekend over there where you guys have a big show, where that's where we come over, and it's a weekend long deal where you rent whatever you guys need to rent over there, and it'll grow. The first year will be not as big as we want it to be, I'm sure, but it'll grow, and maybe that's how we do it.
It would be better. I mean, the cost of hiring a venue over here is probably not nearly as big as Bristol would have been. I shudder to think how much that would have cost you guys, but like,
you don't want to know. It's
no, but our paddock would be basically showground with a grandstand, and we'd be like, okay, here's the demo, boys. Here's your field. Don't run into the crowd. Go for your life, and that would be it. Which,
in Australia,
you guys
super
select
easy to set
a
up.
team. Yeah, if you guys select a team, say we go a 5-on-5 Australia versus America, and you guys pick 5 of your best, and we pick 5 of our best. The viciousness in that derby would be amazing to see, the hits and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. And to record it all and everything, that's the key, is we have to record it, and we have to record the whole journey. Us getting on planes, us going to the airport, us flying over, and you guys should do that too. You should record that whole deal of coming over here, and kind of your first experience from landing in Atlanta. You said Atlanta's a huge city, so you're going to be like right in the mecca of a city in Georgia, and then record the whole thing, man, and post it. People want to see that type of stuff.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the plan of the whole thing. Like, that was the selling point for our sponsor as well, is that we're going to be having this video blog of the entire trip, everything there. I'm hoping we can snag a seat. I did notice the VIP thing. Is that where the drivers go, or what's the go with that?
The VIP means you get trackside seating in the pits. You guys will all be taken care of. Don't worry about it. You guys have seats.
So the idea is to get that content there. So I'm basically going to show. I want to show the Australian people how you guys build the cars, what they actually look like, because I don't think there's a lot that actually is. I've been looking at derby builds, and they've just got a frame there, and they're going, well, cool, where's the car? Like,
yeah, dude, derby, but you guys have Amazon Prime over there, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you have Derby Nation has derby builds on it, but Amazon Prime has derby builds on it, so you can kind of watch the whole thing.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what I've been doing so far, and just seeing the fact that, like, I mean, there's I follow Jason Kinman as well, and just the fact that so far I haven't seen a car yet. All I've seen is frames, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, I've done this today," and they're going, "Where's your car? Like, what are you doing?"
Like us boys, we built 3 of those Magnas from rolling off the trailer as street cars to derby cars in 24 hours, like from start to finish. 3 of them with just 3 of us. Like, it's crazy just watching your cars, and like, just
could you imagine if I put up a video going, "Oh, I'm building the car for the weekend," and I just had a frame and some wheels, and be like, "Yeah, it's almost ready."
Yeah. like taking the windows out is our biggest problem.
Yeah,
that's the hardest part about building our derby cars, is getting the windows out.
Oh man, that's just the start. That's like yeah.
Like, an engine crane doesn't go anywhere near our car at all, let alone a hoist.
Yeah, if we can avoid it anyway.
Yeah.
Some of the old cars, like the panel vans and that, you have to change the motors because obviously they're old as anything. But it's never a fun prospect. Like, you're never there going, "Woo, get to change a motor today." And
Oh,
like you guys
guy,
have, like,
you're going to see guys change motors in 2 hours at Bristol.
yeah. So I swear for the first 2 hours at the car, and then I retire for about half an hour, and then I come back to it. I go, guess I'm going to come back to derbies now. My retirement's over, and then I'll
Yeah.
look at it again for a little bit, swear at
I
it
get a
some more, and then
six-pack to
I'll
change tyres.
yeah. Yeah, so when we're over there, like, you're going to see us completely blown away the entire time, just going, what is everyone doing? Like, so how many entries do you actually have, like, for our division?
For your guys' division, I think there's 10 to 14 teams somewhere in there that are actually running. We wanted 40, but we haven't for some reason. It's very competitive over here at this time of year, and like we have naysayers, just like as you've seen. So some people have chosen to go other places. I think they're probably going to regret not coming this first year, but that's how it goes. So we'll have probably 14 teams in your division.
And how many per heat?
There'll be five teams in there, and we'll take one winner.
Yeah, there should be a decent run up anyway. I mean, that's a bit of space at least.
Yep.
When you said 5, I was like, I can work with 5. That's good. Yeah.
It'll be 5 teams, but yep.
Yeah. So like that kind of stuff is like I said, foreign to us. So and I'm assuming the cars will all be painted the same and everything like that. We might have a target on our back being Australians. But I'm hoping there's some sort of local rivalries and that, and they won't pay attention to us.
Yeah, there's it's a derby, so be prepared to be hit.
Yep, fair. All right, well, yeah, so we're nearly 2 hours in now, so I better let you go because it's probably like, what is it, nearly?
It's like 10 o'clock. I'm good, man. Look, this is awesome. Feels like a once in a lifetime opportunity, which obviously it won't be, but really cool. I just appreciate that, I could be a representative to be on here of what we do in the States. And thanks again, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah. No, and once again, appreciate you being on, mate. Like it's good to have these conversations and show everyone the potential of what's coming. You guys are doing Bristol again next year, aren't you?
Yeah. We signed a several-year contract with Bristol, so this is not a one-year thing.
Now, I'll ask you live, would you be interested in a Team Australia for next year as well?
Yeah, why not? Why would we not do that? I don't think it's I think it's only going to grow from here. The interest and what you guys are doing for us over there. There's going to be people that buy the pay-per-view. I bet you over there.
Oh, 100%.
What you guys are doing, and that's neat, man. So, yeah, look, we've got some time in building cars, time and money and effort. This ain't anything that none of us don't do anyway. So we've wasted stupider money, like doing stupider things. So look, if we can provide you guys a really cool, unique opportunity to come over here, we're all in. So
and we're exactly the same over here. We're very much looking forward to getting you guys over here. And our thing is like, we're going to rock up to your derbies and go, this is like the pinnacle of what you guys are going to do. You guys are going to come over here and go, what the hell are these people doing? And they
what in the Stone Age?
Guys, I'm telling you, it won't be like that. We're going to go to your guys' derbies and we're going to say, this is the funnest time I ever had, because there's going to be no pressure. You're not building a car for 3 months. You're just there to have fun. So we build cars over here for months. I mean, to go perform, and when you get beat, right, it's a letdown, and you just spent 2 months away from the family in the garage, spending all your money to just go get your ass whooped, really, right? So it's just different. It's just a different place. We will have, I guarantee you, we'll have a blast coming over there.
And I guarantee after this conversation, when some of the boys over your way see it, there'll be some people in your ear already going, hey, I want to go on the demo team for when you guys go to Australia. So there'll already be some people.
Devin and Robbie are like shoo-ins. Like, Devin's coming for sure. Robbie is has to come too. And, obviously Brian, that would be, you got 3 right there, obviously I'd love to come over too. So if those guys are all coming over, count me in. I'm in.
I honestly, because Devon's car's in my shed, like it's pretty much, I've just got to build it now. But I have no doubt the footage of his face when he gets that first hit and someone hits him at like 100 miles per hour, he'll be, and the whole back of his car folds. I just can't wait to see that with the big hair going forward.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be great. I'm very much looking forward to it, and their perspective after it when we have the conversation. Go, what did you think?
Oh yeah, he's a character, man. He's a one of a kind individual. Great guy.
Yeah, definitely needs to bring his van over here, I reckon. Just get it transported over and start driving around in that thing.
Yeah.
All right, well, I better go because one of our Bow Desert drivers are coming here to pick up their car.
Okay.
So he's on his way. So, Dustin, I want to thank you again, mate. Appreciate you being on. We're definitely going to have you on as much as we can, which is great. And I will see you in a month.
All right. See you guys. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, buddy.